Hi, this is Patrick Hancock. Today I'm going to be giving you a short, concise version of my unit covering the literature of Africa. The two big standards that the unit covers is, and by the way, this is a 10th grade English unit. The two big standards that we see in this unit, one of those is the development of the theme of a literary work through the characters as the book progresses, and the other one deals with a inquiry-driven research question where students explore that question through research. And so for that second standard, the research standard, that is where I connected the performance task for the unit to make what can be kind of a cold academic exercise of research into something that is more authentic and real world. So the framework for this unit, there's really kind of two parts of the unit that connect. One is a literature circle unit where the students select a book that's an example of African literature. And so they could read Long Way Gone, which is a contemporary work of nonfiction set in Sierra Leone during the Civil War. It deals with child soldiers. They could do The Ear, the Eye, and the Arm, a futuristic sort of science fiction detective story set in the future in Zimbabwe. And then dealing with sort of the more distant past of Africa, we have Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. That is sort of that kind of classic work of African literature. So after a book speed dating exercise, the students select a book and we go into literature circle mode. During literature circles, the students have roll sheets. The idea here is to really build some discussion skills because if I want them to really explore how a theme develops over the course of the book, that's going to be a lot more meaningful if they're doing that in a group setting and if they have the chance to bounce ideas off each other. Now, I'm going to do some scaffolding during the unit, some mini lessons that are going to teach them how to keep a discussion going, how to ask follow-up questions, how to build off another student's ideas. During this portion of the unit, the students set their own reading schedule. Student choice and voice is a big part of this unit. And so they develop the rules for their group. They develop the time table for scheduling what chapters are going to be read, and then they stay on that schedule together. So over multiple class periods, they're getting together, discussing the same parts of the books, using those literature roll sheets I talked about, where some of those help the students ask questions, some of those help the students select quotes that will be discussed. Another person will have a role for illustration or kind of creating a map of or a visualization of the setting. So there's a lot of different tasks. The students can rotate those tasks from day to day. As the students have built an understanding of their book and pulled examples from it, we're at the point where we can do a Socratic Seminar and look at that essential question of how colonization of Africa is reflected in literature. And so we look at kind of the legacy and how it's impacted the settings, the characters, the lives of the characters, their ideas, their social, cultural, linguistic kind of makeup. And they're going to be able to have a whole class Socratic discussion, even though they're reading different books. By having that kind of unifying essential question, we're able to tie those together. As we move on, as we progress in the unit, we're ready for the performance task, okay? The students, through the lens of literature, have gained an understanding of the culture and history of Africa through literature. Now they're ready to research a contemporary African social problem, things like child soldiers, kidnapping, piracy, poaching. There's a lot of hot button issues that are big in the news that are interesting for the students to explore. So once again, the students who had a common interest in their book, and I put the groups together because they had the same interest in the book, they're going to work together and decide, okay, what topic do we as a group want to explore? How I make this a performance task is I give the students a specific role of being lobbyists who are trying to convince a group of politicians to enact legislation related to their topic. So rather than just putting together a PowerPoint that has facts about poaching, students really investigate the problem in a way that they know they're going to have to inform their audience, and in a way that they have to develop potential solutions to this problem. So there's a real active task. There's a sense of some synthesis and processing of information to put it into this package, this collaborative package, because they're doing this together using Google Slides, so they can collaborate, and every student can put their element of research in there. And so ultimately that's presented to the class. The students have a rubric, so they evaluate their own presentation, but then it is also evaluated by their classmates and by their instructor. So this is a way to give students voice and choice in their learning. Obviously, performance tasks, that element of kind of having a voice and having a connection to the real world is a big thing. Literature circles themselves allow students to make choices about what they're reading, how they're discussing it. So this is a unit where there's a lot of work on the teacher's part about setting the framework and giving the organizational structure to the class and kind of teaching the skills and the structure. But at a certain point, with both the Lit Circles discussions and with the research project, the students are taking over and making decisions and having a real voice in what they have to say, what is important, what matters, and why you should listen. Thanks. That's my unit on the literature of Africa. Have a good day.